All right, a very big welcome to you, my viewers and subscribers from all over the world. You are welcome yet again to another interesting episode of your number one political talk show, The Truth with Ben Jokes. Now, the failure of the APC continues in all sectors. It has become so bad under TINUBU that the crude oil money they are embezzling isn't enough. The loans they are taking and sharing amongst themselves is not also enough. They are now going as far as dipping hands into the pockets of individual Nigerians to steal their sweat. After charging Nigerians outrageous electricity bills in the name of Band A and failing to give them the 20 hours daily power supply they promised, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NAC) has now told electricity firms to downgrade Band A customers to Band B and C. Can you imagine? After scamming them for about 6 months, you just wake up and say it's no longer possible to do it. Just start downgrading them. Nobody's going to get punished. The APC is just a total mess, and all the opposition parties need to do right now is to properly coordinate themselves to take advantage of this mess in the APC to kick them out. Few hours ago, news broke out of arguably the most disgraceful event ever in Aso Rock. This event eventually led to a clash between Wike and the TINUBU camp, and this might just be the beginning of the end of the Wike-TINUBU bromance. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, a video surfaced that shows the current mood within the APC. The party is so much in turmoil that one of the most loyal TINUBU and APC chief came on air and began to berate and bitterly criticize TINUBU, saying they had lost trust in him. This was the same man that was on air almost fighting Rufai Hussaini and other journalists over TINUBU, saying that he is the most capable man for the job. Now, this man is coming out to say they have totally lost hope in him, especially with his appointments of incompetent people into office. Before I show you that video and details of that disgraceful event that engendered a clash between Wike and TINUBU, let me quickly show you these videos. The first video here is by a lawmaker, Honorable Bagos, criticizing the numerous loans taken by this administration. See the video.
All this to you, assuming that you were in the house and these gains were presented to you, yet the government comes and says, we still need to borrow 1.7 trillion to fix deficit. Help us make sense.
In the last assembly, if you had followed some of our discussions, because we were against most of these loans. The loans that as a country we are collecting recently or previously, we are already a country nose diving, because you are collecting loan. Where are the templates? What is the template of repayment of those loans? We are not a producing nation. We are not industrialized. We are not an exporting nation. So a lot of issues are wrong in our loans. Like you borrow to take breakfast, borrow to take lunch, borrow to take dinner every day, borrow to pay your children's school fees, borrow to do every single. How are you going to pay those certain loans? Today we are talking about the tax reforms, which means there are going to be more tax burden on Nigerians from next year. From my last calculation, our borrowing ratio is almost getting to 10% per year or by annually. So if we are getting to that level, that almost getting to 10%, it is very dangerous to us as a country. I'm not an economics, but then I know that inflation will be on the high rise. As long as inflation is going high, you are not exporting, you are not producing, you are not industrialized. I don't see any magic. The only industry working in Nigeria today, it's for us, is people looking for how to work in either federal or state government. The only place you have people fill in as Nigerians today is either in the church or in the mosques. I don't see the number of people you find them in the church or mosques. I don't see them in any industry in this country. Go to China and Turkey and other countries, you will see those number of people in industries working day in, day out. And unfortunately, that even the loans that we are still collecting is to service the previous loans. Know what are the capital projects in these loans that we are now talking about? How were those loans being broken down to Nigerians to know that, look, this loan is not about the federation that have to just do with the unit of the president and his government. No, this loan have to do with Nigerians. Nigerians need to be communicated, and that's why I said earlier, it's not an issue of a political decision taken by the National Assembly or by the State House of Assembly. No, Nigerians need to be involved in every critical decision that have to do with their livelihood.
You heard that. You see, the truth of the matter is, for the politicians and ruling class, this is the best time to be a Nigerian. But for the common man, this is the worst time to be a Nigerian. And the reasons for both assertions is just one. Nigerians are so divided. We are so divided, and that makes the erring and criminal ruling class lucky because they can steal our commonwealth and no one challenges them. And that explains why it is the worst time to be a common Nigerian. Just imagine this: TINUBU, Akpabio, Abbas, Wale Edun, Cardoso, and a few others, ultimately less than 20 people, plunging this nation into debt that the next generation will struggle to pay. And the people are not rising against them. They are taking loans every AK market day and nobody is saying anything. What a shame. Now, the next video here is an embarrassing one. Just days after the Zamfara state government was heavily criticized for spending almost £1 billion in entertaining state house guests, news of the state government failing to carry out an important obligation surfaced. See the video.
About 88 children were sent on scholarship by the Zamfara state government to study various courses at Cyprus International University, Nicosia. They have been stranded due to the failure of the state government to resolve the issues with the university authorities. The chairman of the Parents Association, Ibrahim Tudu, told journalists that their children say they are currently facing several problems in Cyprus, ranging from lack of feeding, accommodation, upkeep allowances, their safety, studies, and state of mental health as a result of the non-payment of their registration fees.
We call on His Excellency to, as a matter of urgency, approve and release the payment of rent for the accommodation, upkeep allowance, renewal of their permits and passports without any delay, as they are now on emergency situation. Now that the university has graciously and adequately responded to the demand of the government with a letter containing the details of debt, we would like to appeal to His Excellency that as a father and a man of good character, sympathy, and good intention, to please help and approve the payment and release of all the accumulated tuition fees once and for all, to enable the students finish their studies and come back to their families' home safely.
Tudu added that the students had been ejected from their school accommodation and are experiencing challenges that may lead to their arrest, detention, and deportation.
Wow, Nigeria is just one big joke. You gathered students, sent them to Cyprus on scholarships, and then you abandoned them. You know, there are things that will struggle to get into fiction books in some other parts of the world. But here in Nigeria, those things are our daily realities. A government that is spending over £1 billion entertaining guests within 11 months, abandoned students on scholarship in a foreign land. This place is just a joke. Now, let us look at those two updates that have become the major talking points in the Nigerian political media space. First is the video of that APC chief who bitterly criticized Tinubu. He said Tinubu was toying with members of the party and that he does not trust him anymore. And next is details of that disgraceful event that led to a clash between Wike and Tinubu. Let's start by taking the video of that APC chief.
This is a serious black eye. Dear and beloved president stabbed all of us, his staunch supporters in the back with this absolutely ridiculous, meaningless, and just inexplicable appointment.
So what do you think brought on this appointment?
I don't know.
That you see as an act of betrayal?
It has totally riled our party. Some apologists. You know, I'm a TINUBU supporter. I'm not a sycophant. Those who apologize for everything, who are apologists for everything, they say it's strategy. I think it's stupidity. You know, it makes people who worked. You know, we won this election, the last election, with the lowest margin since 1999. Every other president has won by more than 50% of the votes, Charles. We won with less than 40% of the votes. So for me, well, as a Catholic, I believe it's just the will of God.
But that may be the reason why he wants to form a broader base.
Yes, a broader base by stabbing his supporters in the back and bringing in people who insulted. How do you call a president of a country a drug dealer? I mean, Daniel Boala is a lawyer. He has no evidence, not a shred of evidence, that our president is a drug dealer. He called him a drug baron. Then how does a president now appoint such a person? We were the ones defending him. Then this person who called our president, collective president, that's the president God gave us, called him a drug dealer, you make him your spokesman. Then Bayo Ononuga tries to rationalize. It's just ridiculous, Charles.
I mean, what is your main gripe? Is it that Mr. Boala's appointment is bad for the president's image and his PR, or is it that the jobs are being taken away from Mr. Tinubu's supporters who campaigned for him, like yourself, and being given to people like Mr.
First of
Boala,
all,
who campaigned against him, or is it both?
First of all, not all of us want appointment. Not all of us need appointment.
Yeah, but I'm wondering what your gripe is. Right.
It's just the insult that our president seems to take us for granted. He does not feed us. I've never gone to Tinubu's house to sit and start waiting for him to give me anything. Never. There are those who do that. Not all of us do that. Some of us just love, and for me, in fact, I even like the president as if he's a family member. I don't know why, you know, and that is why it's really, really hot. That my president just behaved as if he can stab anyone in the back, disgrace anyone, humiliate anyone. I mean, I don't trust him anymore. I'm sorry.
You heard that. That was Jesutega Onopasa, one of the directors of the Tinubu Campaign Council. For them, the 2023 elections was all about grabbing the treasury and looting it. Now he is being left out of the looting equation and he's crying foul. What a shame. And of course, in the full interview, he began saying the aggrieved APC members would kick Tinubu out in 2027. And one thing is sure, the sharing or looting formula of the Tinubu regime has greatly divided the APC. And if the people truly desire their freedom, if Nigerians really want to be free from this evil association called the APC, all they need to do is unite and take this opportunity. Now, let us look at details of that update that has now led to a clash between Wike and the Tinubu camp. The embarrassment in this update is second to none. It all happened when the Indian Prime Minister Modi visited Nigeria. A heavily drunk Wike was assigned to pick him up and bring him to the villa. Wike brought him to the villa and began acting drunk to the point that he shoved the Indian Prime Minister while walking away. And now he is blaming the whole episode on running stomach, diarrhea. I never knew that almighty Wike could have running stomach. He said he had running stomach and he was running to the toilet. That was why he shoved the man. Look at how the papers reported it. Exclusive. Some Wike begs presidency not to punish him for shoving Indian Prime Minister. Blames diarrhea for alcohol-laced rage inside Aso Rock. Some Wike has appealed to the presidency not to activate disciplinary measures against him after a video surfaced online appearing to show him shove the Indian Prime Minister during a recent state visit to Nigeria. The FCT minister said his apparent misconduct against Narendra Modi at the State House was induced by a perennial battle with diarrhea, which he said has barely declined since starting several weeks ago. Gazette heard from officials in the presidency. Mr. Wike, a politician whose battle with alcohol has been a matter of public knowledge, appeared intoxicated and disoriented while welcoming the Indian delegation on Sunday, the video showed. The minister's gait was unsteady, and at some point, he stiffened himself as if he wanted to salute the Indian leader, but the salute never happened. It was unclear why Mr. Wike, a civilian without any military background, would abruptly stiffen himself in a manner akin to military officers. Sources familiar with the matter informed the Gazette that Mr. Wike was deploying different tactics to avoid disciplinary action over his undignified demeanor towards Nigeria's international guests. Mr. Wike, according to sources at the presidency, claimed he suffered diarrhea and was only in haste to get to the toilet in an effort to justify his disoriented behavior towards the Indian leader. The matter has been escalated to the disciplinary desk, but Mr. TINUBU is yet to approve that the minister be issued a query to explain why he embarrassed his foreign guests. Mr. Wike, unsure of his fate after the fiasco and in a bid to outsmart TINUBU, quickly reached out to relevant officials and blamed his behavior on diarrhea. The minister denied intentionally mistreating the Indian leader and stressed that his assignment was only to deliver Mr. Modi to the State House, which he did. In the video that showed Mr. Wike shoving the Indian minister, the minister looked confused and overwhelmed seconds after shaking the Indian leader. There was a little opening between the Indian Prime Minister and an aide walking behind him. The video showed that Mr. Wike hurriedly squeezed himself between the opening, shoving Mr. Modi as he walked away with an unsteady gait. Mr. Wike's demeanor and gait suggested that he was not himself somewhat acting under the influence of alcohol. The minister and former two-term Rivers governor was not a stranger to accusations of alcohol abuse. You heard that. I told you that what they do in Aso Rock is party day and night. Alcohol everywhere, and it is the major reason Wike is always there. And on this occasion, he got drunk again and embarrassed himself. And Wike is an alcoholic, so he couldn't control himself again. He embarrassed himself, embarrassed TINUBU and an international guest, a prime minister for that matter. But some Nigerians are saying it serves the Indian prime minister right. They say, who sent them to come Nigeria? Waiting he can't do for here. Ever since TINUBU got into Aso Rock, no president of any country in this world has come to see him on personal grounds, except for when there was a summit, when a summit was held here. But on personal visit, none. Now, the only man that has managed to come was embarrassed by the drunk Wike. And mark my words, this is the beginning of the fall of Wike in that TINUBU camp. Everyone knows that Wike is disliked in that camp. And now he has given them the basis to humiliate him. Wike is just going to be used and dumped by the TINUBU camp and his political journey will end up even being worse than that of Rotimi Amechi. And as I always say, Wike's fall began the day he stole Peter Obi's votes in Rivers State. Since then, everything about him, down to how he looks physically, has taken a serious hit. He has already been rejected in Rivers State and he will soon be axed in TINUBU's government. But none of this changes the fact that the nation itself is in a stranglehold by the APC. Prices of goods and services are on a steady increase. They are on a serious rise now, especially as we approach December. And we all know that what goes up does not come down in Nigeria. What goes up never comes down. The United Nations Food Programme has predicted that over 33 million more Nigerians are going to be facing in 2025 severe hunger that could claim their lives. This regime has not said a word concerning that revelation by the UN, even when they know that it is the truth. They have not said anything about it. When they gathered to hold a conference in Kwara State, it was open defecation they were discussing. Then they held another one. They released funds. They said they should buy equipment to monitor earthquakes and volcanoes. Things that are not our immediate problems. Just opening up fresh avenues to loot the treasury. But I'm not surprised. This is the APC. This is what they stand for. They have come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And if Nigerians desire to have a country, to still have a country in the near future, then they must come together, cast aside their differences, and kick the APC out of power. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una na I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.